villain they never really truly involved again. They ruined. Like I would say they still kind of ruined Cell a little bit with Hello, guys, and welcome back after another week off of the Anime4ALL podcast. I am here with your host, Game Hunter 09 and Spirit Magic Helmet. We're here to
Hey!
talk about the recent episode. Well, not recent because we're behind, very behind. But that's totally fine because we're here.
You said
Of course, you get fine behind funny. I don't know why he'd find that funny. But we're gonna talk about episode 13, Battle's End. Uh,
behind me.
Having fun there.
I'm waiting for you to keep talking.
I'm aware of
How am I
this.
supposed to troll you? How am I supposed to troll you if you're not talking?
Could just not troll me and talk about the episode and while you're
We
here.
haven't even started the
I hope.
episode yet.
Well, give me a minute. Okay, see here. Oh, I guess before you get to this topic, I wanna give a recommendation for something that I started like this weekend. Um I saw a video on YouTube or like I guess a YouTube short of a really weird of an anime that I heard the name of like weeks ago but didn't know what it was about or even cared. I saw like an action scene from it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch this. I intended to watch it subbed and didn't realize that they actually had one episode dubbed. So I will now be watching this anime in English dub like week to week, as long as I remember. But I think it's called The Beast and the Witch or The Witch and the Beast. Basically from the first episode it pulled me in terms of like it's an interesting show. It looks like the world is about like the world started with like these 16 witches that is it a 15 or 16 witches that each had like they were called origin witches, and they all had like I guess really they had some like they were really powerful. I guess each had like a I guess the element or whatever that they were really powerful that they mastered all each. Apparently, there was this really wicked witch. Like they couldn't get away with that apparently, but it's this wicked witch that was evil and was doing a lot of things, doing a lot of evil things to the world. Apparently, she dies at some point, and like the origin witches also die off, but like they send their magic to their descendants, through the line. I guess it's like one descendant each timeline or whatever, or each age that a witch exists in. But whatever reason they bring up curses and witches curses and whatnot, and like how you get cursed by a witch and ways to break that curse. Um TLDR, like there's like three ways to break a curse. They only talk about two at the very beginning, and they bring up the third one in the actual during the fight. The third one's kind of funny in my opinion, but we'll talk about the first two first. The first way to break a witch is to break a curse is to get that witch to just to break the curse. Obviously, get her to have a change of heart. Um, Two, it's like to like have her get her to feel sorry and just remove it. Period. Like I guess like her to fall in love with you, and then she'll break. She can remove the curse there. The third wish, which has nothing to do with the first, I mean, the third way to get rid of the curse, which has nothing to do with the first two, is literally steal a kiss from her. And apparently, you can do this from any witch, and it should break the curse if it's the witch that made the curse in the first place. It was a very interesting premise. I'm not really describing it too well here, but I only watched one episode. Well, apparently, there's two characters: this girl and this guy. The guy's like a mage, and he's carrying this giant coffin on his back. Um, I don't completely understand what's really going on here, but that girl, she's been cursed by a witch. And she's like apparently searching for the witch that cursed her. Um, in the first episode, she ends up just taking on this witch that like is brilliantly deceiving the town that she's living in, and pretty much wants to like break a seal on hell flames that no one knows how that started. Uh, Basically, there's a fight that ensues with between her and that witch. The witch like just destroys her. But as it looks like she's about to win, the witch apparently this girl, I guess, transfers bodies from her body into this body that's sitting in the coffin from the man I mentioned earlier. And this giant
Okay.
behemoth comes out of the coffin, and it's like this giant muscular body that like well, let's just say apparently whatever that body is like the weakness for witches. For whatever reason, she's able to transfer her soul into that body and just destroys the witch. She faints, but like and they captured her and the episode ends. But it got me interested because I was like, huh, this is interesting. Another show about magic that I can get into. I thought it was an interesting like little anime that just started, and a lot of people are probably taking to it. I thought I'd just like recommend that here to anybody watching or listening. I think it's like The Witch and the Beast.
Did
Uh,
you just like summarize the entire plot of the anime though?
I don't think so. Uh, because I don't completely understand a lot of what's going on. Like again, it was only an episode one that I watched. I watched the English dubbed. There's like three more episodes that were already out, but they were in like, Japanese English sub. I was like, well, I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
watch this. I already started English. I might as well continue, and it'd be a nice little thing I can watch weekly. You know, when they drop an episode, I can go back and continue it in the language I was listening to it in. If I did summarize the entirety of the dang show's plot, I it shouldn't have dropped all that lore at the very beginning of the episode. That's really what happened. They talked about like 16 really powerful witches. They called them origin witches, and they passed their power on through the times. Apparently, witches can live for a very long time, based on like that one witch they showed us in the first episode. So I don't really know. I found it interesting, and I was like, it caught my interest. It was like, very rarely do I see something on a YouTube short fight or anything. I'm like, that caught my interest. I'm actually interested. I want to see what this is about. And very rarely do shows start off with like epic voice narrator giving you the details of the world. I'm like, huh, this is cool. If I already hadn't been watching this, maybe I would have suggested this at some point. But you can watch it if you want to. I don't mean I don't know if it's something you were interested in watching. I only recommend it to people who are listening that want to hear about a random anime that I'm watching in the background. Um, Speaking of random anime in the background, still want to bring up that My Hero Academia is due to come out in May this year. Um, I don't know if Rurouni Kenshin will be running at the same time that it's coming back. If it is, we'll just pretty much be I guess we'll review them at the same time. We'll go back to doing two episodes at a time. Um, I'm gonna hope that maybe that doesn't happen, but who knows? Who can see the future? Like we're like in January at the end of January, and like I'm not sure how much longer this show will run. If it's gonna have a season end or they're gonna go through the entirety of like the story of the manga. But based on something I saw recently, they might be going through the entire story of the manga, so this thing might just be like a one run thing and just be done.
Oh, really?
So who's
How many episodes are there total?
of Enemy Kitchen right now?
Yeah.
Uh,
Or how many are there going to be for this season?
I can look that up right now. See here, second TV series. It's weird, but I could see what they're doing right now. Oh, okay. Well, I'm wrong. Um, let's see here. Oh wow. Okay, this well right now the season we're watching is supposed to be 24 episodes, and the 24th episode aired last year in December. But it's been confirmed that they got a new they've been renewed for a second season. That must have been what I saw that advertised for that arc I've been teasing. I'm actually kind of upset because like I've been waiting for that particular one because I want to see what they do and how they animate it. But
Yeah,
maybe it's for the better. Maybe it's for the better. But
maybe it's
dang,
for the better.
fudge. Apparently it's due to it's supposed to come out this year at some point. I'm not sure when. But okay. Well, at this rate we're going, and it's supposed to be May. Counting for like a filler episode for My Hero Academia. we're at episode 13 right now. So we do see next episode. That's 1 week. Week. Wow, apparently one episode was 2 episodes. They aired different weeks. Huh. These episodes is a two-parter. Okay. Oh wait, is this a prequel? So, like, what's happening? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud. I was thinking through everything.
Kenshin would Kenshin would lend itself well to a prequel.
Um, I guess it's not really a prequel; it's more of a story based on Kenshin, but he's telling. Apparently, this is a two-parter. I have to see how that works out. I might actually insist we watch that both episodes and review at the same time. We'll worry about that when we get to it. Remind me when we get to that point if you see it. Uh,
Okay.
um, so we're reviewing right now 13. See 4. So 12 weeks from now, what's that look like? I said 11 weeks, right?
No, you said 33 weeks.
11 or 12 weeks. Okay, so actually, okay. I wanted to know if we were going to be done with reviewing this before My Hero came up. Uh, the news is yes, we will be done by if as long as we don't. Like, there's enough room for like maybe 1 to 2 weeks of us not doing anything, or maybe even 3.
Oh yeah.
It looks like we'll probably be long done. And I mean, on top of that, if one of these, I would honestly sit there and say episodes 20 and 21, since it looks like even though they aired at different weeks, but considering what we're reviewing this and the way we're reviewing it, I guess a heads up would probably be episodes 20 and 21. We might review those at the same time. Because it looks like it's just like one story just told in a two-parter. And it seems like it's probably the only episodes like that. And I think we already reviewed 2 episodes already in this podcast, you know, series of this particular show already. I think we have. It also depends if my co-host here thinks there's too much information to do in one from both episodes and two, which is possible.
No, My Hero Academia doesn't make me research that much, so I think it'd be all right. Just we got to stick to my deadline. You know what I mean, of 11 o'clock. But other than that,
No, that's fine. I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna sit there and say right now, tentatively speaking, we might do it at the same time. Don't be shocked that we don't, because either I'm a moron or I forget one of the two.
oh my gosh,
Okay. Speaking of your
make yourself
deadline,
a moron.
uh, episode 13, Battle's End. Pretty much it's the end of the fight. Well, we come back to the end of the fight with Kenshin and Ayoshi. Yeah, Mister. I'll show you all 32 of my teeth at once. Uh,
He
he's
does have a
still.
lot of teeth. He loses about 2/3 of them, but he does have a lot.
I mean, Kenshin rearranges it. Uh, uh, but we come back.
Kenshin apparently didn't like his teeth either. That's all I'm saying.
What?
Kenshin apparently didn't like all his teeth either. That's basically what I'm saying.
I appreciate that. Uh, but Conrio is like waving his giant Gatling gun around, not thinking of the consequences, both in him firing constantly and him not thinking about reloading, uh, which is his downfall, which is to be expected with a gun of that size that he's using in his house. Um, Before that, essentially, we come back to Sanosuke, Shijuko, and somebody else running. Yeah, Hanya running towards the room where all the gun, like where where their leaders are fighting for Megumi right now. They run in. They see the giant gun. Shijuko runs in as he's about to fire. Kenshin's running the opposite direction with Yahiko in his hand like a bag of potatoes, trying to get
And he
away
says
from
something
all
on the
this.
way by.
Hmm?
He says something to him on the way by that we find out later.
I mean, yeah, well, that's why I wasn't gonna really mention that just yet. But I mean, yeah, something gets said between us two as they run by. I guess we can talk about that now. It
Well,
doesn't
it's
really
worth
matter.
it.
It doesn't really matter.
Worth
I
it to
mean,
point it out because he
Shijuko
runs
just
by
like
so slowly.
he says something to Kenshin that he already told Sanosuke that I guess Sanosuke wasn't really taking stock in for some reason, and it's just that like I know he said this to him before during his fight with her Sanosuke knocked him out, which is like you have potential to get stronger, which is really cool that they see to that because something else I do know about Sanosuke. Um, Can't wait to see what it looks like in this animation style. I'm actually very intrigued. I had to go look it up weeks ago to figure because I remember there was something about Sanosuke that was bugging me that I couldn't remember what it was, and now I know. But yeah, it's pretty cool. They're seeding the reason for Sanosuke to get stronger. You know, to seek out much higher strength. I actually like that a lot that they did that. You know, it was a nice thing. They didn't really have to do. They could have found another way to get Sanosuke to get stronger, but this is a pretty cool way to do so. Um, yeah, they run past each other, and then Conryo's trying to decide who to shoot. Either Ayoshi, who's already on the ground, or Kenshin, who's running for the door. He chooses to go for the guy that's wounded, which I guess makes sense I guess in a tactical sense. He was a smart decision. Unfortunately, before he's able to fire, Shidrika gets in the way and blocks the bullets. They all go through his back, and then Shidrika like ends up on his knees, telling Shinomori that he shouldn't worry. That he's happy that he gets a chance to use his muscles for something good, even if he says like muscles he gained with drugs. And as he's saying this to him, he ends up dying on his knees, standing like his back, his spine. Like that is an interesting way to die. On top of that, shows how strong his spine is.
Yeah,
I
and
did
how
not
big he
fall
is just
back
in
or
general.
go forward. He just sat there. He's dead. Like, jeez.
Just how big he is in general too. I mean, he's a
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he should
pretty
have
large
fallen over.
dude.
But at this point, I was
I
like,
don't know how you knock down a mountain of a man like that. You know,
bullets. They showed you exactly
bullets, a
how to knock him out.
lot of bullets.
Bullets.
But he also went down a human shield, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, again, just showing that they do actually value what they built with him. In the group, every single one of them
Yeah,
actually goes down and like in a heroic show of like they're willing to die for this man, even though he doesn't want them to. Uh, Fire dude ends up like going out like getting a headshot. Um, Because by the way, being shot in the head with a Gatling gun was gotta hurt. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he didn't feel anything considering how many bullets would have went through his face. But like, he went out. Like, he went out, and then like the guy Benjamin, who was apparently in the barrel on his back, that got shot. Like, I guess in the head, and he went down. Uh, Hanya went out. Like, Anya took one for the team in more ways than one, and I felt really bad for him considering that he came from a village that was killing their children, and he managed to survive all
yeah.
that to find people that because we see him. He's talking to Kenshin first, and he's like how long do you think it takes you to get to your sword? And he's like 9 seconds. He's like that's kind of cutting it
15.
short.
He says 15 first, and then he says probably 10.
Oh, okay. He's like, that's still cutting it short. Like, and he's like, jeez, and he as he's running, he's telling there Megumi's behind that door, and he's like, it's not like I didn't care about her, but I care more about Ayoshi. So he ends up running. He ends up running towards his leader, and then we have this little flashback of him being trained kempo from that guy when he was much younger. Um, apparently they can tell that he's smiling even though his face is missing. I was looking for a point where we'd see apparently him grinning, but I couldn't see any of it. And apparently he didn't know he was
Me
grinning. So I maybe I guess it's one of those like I can feel your grinning versus actually seeing it. But we saw that they had a really good family. Every single one of them had a reason to live, and it was within the Oniwawa group. And he goes down with the last bullets of the Gatling gun going through him, and he ends up falling to the ground. Shinomori is stunned and upset, rightfully so. The people that he considered his family are all gone. He's alone. Kenshin now has his sword, and Conryo still got the I can kill you running through my veins. He goes on a speech about how money is the greatest thing in the world and he cannot rule the world with a Gatling gun. And actually, I want to say, one of the something that I found kind of disturbing, but I guess they did it on purpose, was there's a couple times when he's using the Gatling gun, he goes from Japanese to English.
Yeah, he's like, I love my Gatling gun. No, I love money. And yeah, and then at first I didn't really understand it because it was such thick accent,
One
and then I
minute, I'll let you
realized
continue.
he's speaking English.
Uh, Thank you for the raid, Six. I'm glad you enjoyed your stream. If we don't see you again, enjoy your night. Continue.
And he's like, I love like my Gatling gun, and then at first I thought it was just like I'm like, where's the subtitles? And then I'm like, wait, they're speaking English.
There's subtitles speaking English.
But the accent was so thick.
I'm not gonna lie. When it happened, I wasn't prepared for it. Normally, when that kind of happens in anime, because this isn't the only time that English seeps its way into Japanese anime. It
Yeah.
isn't the only time. This is like one of the few. This is like it's just one of those times that it happens because it happens every now and then.
Uh huh.
Yeah, take your time and chill. Six. Um, but like it happens every now and then, and but like I had the same exact reason. I had the same exact reaction when the subtitles disappeared because I wasn't really listening at first. I was like, oh, he's speaking English. That's interesting. I was like, that is a really weird transition. They don't warn you at all. It just happens.
Yeah.
Like it just happened, and it happens a little bit more later on in the episode. But I thought it was kind of a cool little thing that they decided to have him speak English, just for the Gatling gun bit. There's. But yeah, he's
I think the wor- I think the first time I came across that was in Grave of the Fireflies when he's like, "What do you want to eat?" And she's like, apple pie, ice-cream." And I was like, "Oh." That was like the first time I ever saw English kind of scattered into a Japanese anime.
yeah. I don't know why they do it. Um, and I know that like not many Japanese voice actors, unless it's something that they studied, speak English. So it's like either what happens is that the people that they do it is have that some of them are able to speak a little bit of English, just a little bit, enough to get by, that they're able to yell into their in mic or whatever in English for some strange reason, and it just like catches you off guard. Like I almost want to see that actor. I need to see who that actor is. I need to find out because I want to see like if I've heard him in someplace else, because that was kind of weird. But yeah, he had a thick accent. But I mean, that's just what happens when you speak English and when you're speaking whatever Japanese dialect he speaks normally. Um, but yeah, he goes on a spiel about his Gatling gun, how money is like the greatest thing in the world. Like it bought him this Gatling gun. He loves his Gatling gun, and then he's about to fire it on Kenshin, who's already angry at everything that's happened beforehand. Um, and realizes that his gun is not firing, and realizes that he's got no more bullets. Which is, I was already predicting this very beginning of the episode. He's gonna run out of bullets at some point, isn't he? Like I saw that coming, but I wasn't sure if they were gonna do that or not. But I'm glad they did. Um,
I have a question for you. What was Kenshin gonna do if they didn't?
I honestly would
If
have.
he did have bullets,
I
what
wouldn't have.
was
I
Kenshin's
wouldn't.
plan?
I mean, I wouldn't have put it past him to be able to block bullets. If I'm being real. Now, granted, I don't know if he would have been
But
able to block
200,
bullets going that
200 rounds a
speed.
minute. 200 rounds a minute is a lot. I could see him blocking like one or two, but like 200 rounds a minute's like a
He
little
probably could dodge
overwhelming.
them or something like that. I don't know. I mean, he probably would have gotten hit by a few. I'm not gonna sit there and say he wouldn't have gotten. He would have came out of that unscathed. Um, but like
But
probably
it
could.
was part of the plan. Like they both ran forward, and that was the plan was to do this.
No, I
So
think
what was the
Kenshin like knew he
plan?
was gonna run out of bullets. Now I'm not entirely sure how Kenshin was keeping an eye on how many bullets were firing out of that thing, but he must have.
That's kind of a if Kenshin knew he was going to run out of bullets, that's kind of a dirty trick, isn't it?
No, I
Don't
mean,
worry, I'm
no,
going to
not
run ahead
really.
and let everybody shoot. Don't worry, I'm going to run ahead and let him shoot me while you get your sword, and then you can get in there and hit him, and he'd be like, "Oh,
I
okay,
mean,
buddy, go for it."
here's the
And
thing
then the
though,
guy runs
Hanya.
forward, and then he's like, "Ah!" And the
I,
guy's like, "Got," and he uses all his bullets up. And Kenshin's just
I
like,
need a
"Thanks, dude.
sound
I got
clip of
my
that.
sword."
Somebody, please.
Got. And but then like Kenshin could have just walked over and picked up his sword because the other guy was going to get shot and run out of bullets no matter what. That's a shitty thing to do.
I mean, I think Hanya wasn't expecting to come out of this alive anyway, because everybody he knew besides leader was already dead.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, all right, buddy, go first. You got it. You're the man.
He was like one syllable away from Mr. Krabs' laugh. I'm sorry, just that sounds like more like Popeye, but we're not gonna get into that. But I mean, I think Hein wasn't expecting like to get out. And he's probably expecting the guy to fire at his leader again. I mean, honestly, for me, I'm not really analyzing that much because I have expected him to run out of bullets because like that's a giant gun and like it's a reason why Gatling guns aren't really used that much. Only like in fantasy, just for the fun of it. And in the first person shooters, I don't think Gatling guns are used that much in like the real world. I mean, and maybe the instances they are used in war. Maybe they're just used once. I don't even think Gatling guns are even still used. I could be wrong about that though, but
No, they're not used now because we have machine guns now.
oof. Dang it. NRA needs to come down. Okay, but but yeah, he ran out of bullets and he just started. And before Kanye was about to yell help, Kenshin just stops him right there. As he about to yell help, ask your money to save you. I was like, damn, that's more poignant than it should be. And then he just sends him flying into the wall, rearranging his face in the process.
It does make it. It is kind of a brutal thing to say. Maybe your money will help you.
I mean, it hurt
Please
him like
don't kill.
mortal damage. Just basically what happened there, and just sends him flying into the wall with his face all messed up. Like I mean, geez, like and he hit him in his face so hard it sent him into the wall, and his teeth are just like his teeth are obviously missing. I'm not sure where those things are, but like he no longer has all 32. I
It was very satisfying knowing that he got his face bashed in.
mean, he had it coming. The guy had it coming.
Yeah, the guy had it coming in then some. So I was very satisfied knowing that he was going to get his face knocked out.
Edit all that, like Kenshin then like falls to the ground for a few seconds and then gets back up, finding out that we apparently Shinomori did do some actual damage to him. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to like have Kenshin like weaken the knees a little bit. Uh they're about to go for they go up to the stairs to find Megumi leaving a broken and shattered mentally uh Shinomori on the ground with his colleagues all dead around him. Um, I feel really bad for that guy. He built an entire team and trusted these guys, and they're all dead.
Yeah, he did seem to have like a really good connection to them all. And he must feel somewhat responsible for it because he's the one that got them all into the situation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he blames himself for that one, and probably blames
I mean,
Kenshin a tiny
because
bit.
he's the one that got into business with these guys and they all just followed him blindly. So it's got to kind of stink for him to know that.
Hmm. They go up to the door where Megumi is, and then she's sitting there wondering what happened to all the gunshots. Like, that must be interesting, to hearing all that gunfire, and then all of a sudden it stopped and just silence for a few seconds, and then the door rumbles. And then there's like
Right.
Yahiko and like Sanosuke like, oh, come on with this door, and then just boot it down like they normally do in anime. Megumi is shocked, and then she attempts to commit seppuku to atone for her actions of the opium, and Sanosuke grabs the sword, the blade, with his bare hands, stops her.
Of all people to stop it, though, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I'm still like, at least I'll say this much. I know I mentioned that I forgot she even existed. I'm guessing I forgot she existed because based on the way they ended her little arc, she ends up staying with a doctor in in another city, I guess, and living there, doing becoming a doctor there. I'm guessing the memories I forgot she existed is because she wasn't like living with them in the main house. Um,
Yeah.
but it seems really weird. Like I feel like she's important enough that I would feel like I would remember her. But I guess it's one of those characters that she gets lost in all the characters that I'm trying to remember, and I'm not gonna remember everybody, that's for sure. But like I feel like I would have remembered her, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like and Sanosuke scolds her saying, "What are you trying to do? Like undo all the hard work that Kenshin did, and all this is going down." She's like grateful to Kenshin, and then Yahiko peers out the window, and apparently the police all just now showed up. That was intriguing. All the police show
Well,
up.
or was it just kind of convenient?
That's kind of what I meant to say, convenient, but whatever. It is what it is. Convenient, intriguing.
Yeah.
Barely all heard the commotion going on in Conrad's house. Just showed up. Um, and then Yako's like, "We gotta get out of here." And then Megumi says like, "There's like a special exit that you can use that only Conrad knows about." She gives Kishin some like balm, I'm guessing, to heal his wound or work on it. Well, not heal, but like, make it like start the healing process for his wound. They go to him before he goes to a doctor. And then she walks out the door, I guess attempting to turn herself into the police. And like she walks out, and then we peer back to the police already inside Conrio's house. That was fast. They're looking around, like they at least see there's a lot of damage, and then Megumi shows up, and then the police officer who we've seen before first asks her like what are you doing here, or to some extent, but she just says that she was the reason why this opium was around, and but she doesn't get a chance to say it. As she's about to
Yeah.
confess to the opium, Kitchen pops up behind her and covers her mouth. I thought that was funny because it was like he could have just let her confess and let her seal out the punishment she was looking for, even though it sounds like the death for like the penalty for opium was death. Um,
I thought it was cool that Kenshin kind of has connections here. He just kind of like he's like, no, 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 I'll vouch for her, and then that was all that was really needed.
yeah, well, that's gonna get to a little bit of that too, but like he stops her from confessing to the opium, and is like, then he says, which isn't untrue. She was coerced into making the opium by Kanryu. He's the one you want. Kanryu gets upset because he's trying to get her put in jail too because he knows he's gonna die. Um,
Yeah.
and like they shut him up, and then like he's like, that's all you should need, right? And then he's just like looking at him like with a smile on his face, like, you know what I want you to do. Those connections are really powerful for him. Apparently Kanye lets it slip that he's the Batosai, and apparently Megumi did not hear this information before, and is shocked that she met the legendary Batosai, and he's like, killing a lot of people. Like, I've killed a lot of people, and I'm trying to atone for that. He doesn't really say this in these words, but you can tell this. He's trying to get across to Megumi is that the people that he died, he can still save more people than get killed, and he's atoning
Yeah.
for the people that he's taken out by saving more people than he's killed with his sword. So that was kind of cool. He kind of like showed her like he knows what she's feeling, and there's no reason to kill yourself over it or get killed over it. As long as you heal more people, becoming a doctor, you'll more than atone for what you've done, and you'll meet your parents. It was a pretty sweet moment that he did that. He He first, gave her a way out that she probably wasn't thinking about to begin with, and ends up giving her back I guess, the bomb that she handed him before she walked out. And
Yeah, I
Conrio,
don't know why he did that. He could have still used it.
well, the doctor was there, so I suspect, they just got back when the doctor. No, there was been a couple days. So maybe the doctor that she walked out with, because she was still there with them before she walked out and to live with the doctor. It's possible she could have healed him.
No, they haven't even found Ayoshi yet at that point.
Well, I mean, before we go back to them, but I mean, they look for Ayoshi after the thing with
What I'm
Conrio.
saying is when he hands back the medicine, they haven't even found Ayoshi yet. Like she's not with the doctor yet or anything like that. He gives it back to her like a couple minutes later
I guess Kenshin
without using it.
was in all that bad shape. I mean, leading up to like where they find Ayoshi, and I guess we'll just go this by timestamp here, but on that timestamp, but like bit by bit. After everything with Megumi and then Conrio settles, after Conrio confesses that that's his gun, don't you look? Don't, like, honestly, what would you say that out loud? It sounds like owning a Gatling gun is kind of against the law, or you should have a permit for it because the way the police are talking about it. Um, 'Cause they didn't even know it came in apparently, so like he somehow got that shipped in without getting caught. Um, confesses the Gatling gun. Kenshin brings up like like you did like there's a what about the tall man that was back there? The really tall man with the sword. He's like, we walked in there. The only thing we saw was a couple of dead bodies with their heads cut off, and there was no tall man you speak of. And when I first heard, I was like, he cut their heads off. Like, how did he have time
Yeah,
to
that
do
was
that
kind
before he
of.
left? But
Some of those heads are pretty big and heavy for an injured man, but
I'm like, oh, I was like, what did he? How
the
did he?
logistics of it, you know what I mean?
Huh?
Just the logistics of it. There's some pretty big, heavy heads there.
I mean, he's a good samurai. I mean, not samurai. He's a good like he knows his way around a blade. So maybe he knows a way to cut things off really fast. I mean, there's a freaking like a spinal cord in there you got to cut through. I'm like, I'm not gonna get into this, but he cut their heads off and disappeared through the only exit beside the front door that Conrio made. Kitchen brings this up. The police and him and everybody go to the exit, find the doors opened, and then it's like I guess he went through here. Apparently, somehow they managed to catch up to Shinomori, who is apparently over the gate, with the heads of his friends on a pike. I guess as a resting place for them. And then Kitchen is like, "Hey, how about you fight me right now? We fight again." And then Shinomori just looks down at him. Everybody else is shocked, and he just turns around and says like until I come back to defeat you again, don't let anybody else defeat you. And I said there, Vegeta.
He beat me to it. I was waiting to say
There's his
Vegeta.
Vegeta. I was like wondering, I was calling Sanosuke Vegeta at first, but I shouldn't have. There's his Vegeta.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been looking for the entire show, and I've been trying to figure out who it was. But yeah, he says, "Don't let anybody defeat you till I come back to defeat you." He's running off to get stronger. I guess what we're assuming. Um, and Kenshin is like pretty much trying to give him a reason to continue to live. Because I guess he was under the assumption that
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't gonna, he was gonna go off somewhere, maybe kill himself, maybe I don't know what Kenshin was ultimately thinking he was gonna do. But he pretty much offers him something to fight for, and he's running off. And then Kenshin, everybody's like Katsunosuke gets surprised that he did that, and but yeah, like that's pretty much their interaction with him for now because he's still alive. Uh, they're all concerned about him being a constant target. I mean, Kenshin lived most of his life as the man killer. I don't think he's that concerned over one man after his head.
Well, that's a pretty effective opponent.
Yeah, I know, but it's I guess like in his own way, he's trying to atone in a really weird way, offering that you can defeat me right now. I'm
Yeah.
not at my peak. Um, Again, the Vegeta and Shinomori is like, I'm not gonna defeat you to your full strength. But whatever. Um, there goes that. And then they all like Genshin says, "Okay, let's really go home." I'm like, mm-hmm. At some point, he said earlier, "Let's go home," before, and they did something else. I forgot. But like, let's really go home, and then they go home to Karu, who, um, her fingers are all messed up from I guess her cooking. Um,
Is
No,
that what they're implying, that she messed up her fingers from cooking?
yeah,
I couldn't quite figure that one out. I was like,
really?
I thought maybe there was a reference. Yeah, I thought maybe there was a reference to something earlier in the episode that I was missing.
No, I mean the only reference from something earlier in all these arcs is like I think Sanosuke mentions like we're gonna go. You better have like dinner and a bed and our beds ready for us when we come back. He says that all like off putting. I was actually kind of shocked that she did so, but I mean, hey, um, Akara is
Well,
like
she worries about Kenshin.
that's true, but she made the beds and everything, waiting for them to come back. I thought honestly those bandages were implying she was trying to make Ohagi, but when they were gone and she made someone that came back. That was not what she made. So I was like, that's really weird. So apparently she's clumsy in the kitchen, I'm guessing. Uh for her. And then Megumi is like, can I have some? And Chikara's like, sure. And then they have their little dinner, their little party. Yeah, Yahiko and Sanosuke were gonna go to bed first, and then she got all angry about like, I made this dinner for you. Yahiko's over here saying,
Yeah,
I'm sleepy, and Sanosuke's saying nothing. They go to like where the food is, and then Yahiko's sitting in front of his food sleeping. I thought that was kind of funny. He just sat there and
I feel
just
like it's fair enough. They had, I mean, it's fair to say they had a pretty busy day.
yeah, I know. I just kind of find it funny that Yako's just like there. He wanted to go to bed, and she just said no.
Yeah,
But
and then the food was bad.
yeah, I felt really bad actually because like I know she put her heart and soul into that, and then the gummy just goes out and just says it's horrible. Like, jeez.
Yes, and everybody laughs.
Yeah,
This is really disgusting. Ha 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 ha. Ha.
but
How cruel is that?
maybe it wasn't as bad. Maybe she was just trying to be cheeky. I don't know. She likes to pick fun with her even to the last day that she's there, which she does. Because a few days pass, I'm guessing, and Megumi probably is not going to be living with that doctor from earlier that complimented her on knowledge and medicinal in medicine and whatnot. And as she's leaving, she teases Megumi again about like Megumi teases Kaoru again about the whole like I can be your companion is what she said, companion woman. And Kaoru got
Yeah.
really upset, and Kenshin, being the shonen male protagonist he is, he's like, companion woman? What does that mean?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he was really being dense or not. I just don't know. I'm gonna go in good faith that he didn't know. Um, and she's
Like a
walking
good
through.
Japanese protagonist, you can't tell.
Dang it, you're so right, but dang it. Um, but and she's walking through the door, like the entrance to the dojo. Sanosuke's there, and then she just pokes fun at him. I'm guessing. I don't know. I could not tell what was really going on there. If she liked him or not. Well, she reveals that she's 22 and he's 19. Now there isn't that big of a difference in age, but it's like I was surprised that she says she's 22. Uh,
Why is
and
that?
hmm?
Why is that? She's a doctor by this point.
Well, she's a doctor in training.
I mean, she's pretty talented though.
I get that. I just thought it was kind
It's
of
safe
interesting that she
to be
revealed that
like
she's
this.
22 versus like just letting people guess how old she is. But whatever. I don't really
Okay.
know. I could not tell. You're saying that she's a love interest for someone else. I don't know. I can't really tell there's any chemistry between them. But I mean, hey, maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember her, so hey, who knows? She
If
walks
there
up.
is, it's just if there is, it's just a little bit.
She walks out teasing him like, if you become manly as Kenshin, I'll be your companion woman, and he's embarrassed by all that information. And she walks out. She's like, by the time you get to
But
my
I mean,
age, 20.
if you combine that with the fact that they've been spending the whole last episode and this episode talking about how much potential he has, then he could easily become good enough for her.
Do you hear
Because
that?
the whole point of some of this episode was like that she was, that he had all sorts of potential, like the big guy said before he got killed and everything else. So,
I understand, but did you hear
so
that?
I mean, if there, no, I didn't hear anything.
Sorry, there was just like a giant explosion. Second one of the night outside the house. But they continue. Oh, okay.
That's all right. You know, I'm sure those kind of things are typical in your neighborhood, right?
Don't, no, don't.
I'm just, what's wrong with that?
Continue, continue.
I'll just reiterate what I was saying then because I was done saying it, but like I was saying that they just finished having a lot of the episode be about his potential, Senosuke's potential. So for her to say like, you know, if you become as much of a, you know, a man as Kenshin is someday, then like I will be your companion. It sounds like he is kind of on his way, so it's not that outrageous.
I guess I'm just like I'm not seeing. I'm also not remembering. And like I would go out of my way to research this to into the earth. I was like, well, I'm watching this now. Why not just watch it happen if it does happen? Um, I mean, it's not like I'm against those two dating. It's just one of those things like I just don't see it because most of the time they give you hints, like really strong hints as possible that she may have, like the girl might have a crush on this guy, and then you know that doesn't happen at all here. She's mostly just poking fun at, I mean, either at Koro and then poking fun at Sanosuke here. The
It
first
would
time
be
she
just
does that
it
here.
would be just poking it'd be just poking fun if it wasn't for the fact that he had just saved her life and that she said if you build out your potential more, then I could be your companion. He's Kenshin's never going to be interested in her like that. It's I mean that's a given. It's a pretty good fit.
I understand like it's possible she could be interested in him and Kenshin, and it's like Kenshin just doesn't want her like that, and that's just it. That just is what they go with. That's just as far as things go with them. But you know, eh. I mean, she walks off, and then you know she's happy. She's able to like move on with her life. Um, and pretty much that's where the episode ends. The next episode is literally titled
Actually,
Yahiko.
there's the after credit scene too.
I didn't see any of that.
It's very very short. Aoshi's buries his friends or the heads of his friends, I
I
guess,
thought they were already buried. Okay,
and
never mind.
he says he says I can't leave you flowers now, but I promise. And then he was broken off from his promise and by a like a villager or a local or something that shows up and it's like, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" And then he looks at him and walks away, and he walks into the woods, and the guy's like, "You know, that's a dangerous woods. You can't go into those woods. Nobody goes in there. It's very deep and dark." And he just wanders off and kind of melts into the shadows. That's all that happens.
That's a nice little conclusion to him.
Yeah,
For
at
right
least for
now.
now.
In this episode, it's literally, I know it's titled Yahiko something, and I just forgot what word was after Yahiko. Find that out really
Yeah,
quick.
he goes battle.
Yahiko's back, and there's this girl apparently that looks like the girl that I was talking about in the intro, the waiter chick, that looked maybe around his age. Now love interest for him, I don't think it's her. I could be completely off basis, but I don't think it's her. If they're gonna give him a love interest, I mean, I know he's like 9, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's her. I think there's another character I'm missing. Whatever. They'll get to when we get to it. But if I remember correctly, based on what I've kept on mentioning before, that there was something that I was alluding to. Since it looks like it's gonna be the next season, the next character that I guess is gonna pop up now that I've actually had a chance to remember now. We've already kind of seen him already. Um, I'm gonna leave you on that one. You can do your research into that if you want to, or not. But I believe you've already seen him. He's probably gonna be the least likely thing you probably think that this is gonna be coming up next. Major, anyways. I say major in quotations. Um, but if I remember correctly, I'm not remembering everything about him. I just know I remember what he looks like. That's about it.
Okay.
And I say, as much as I've been hyping up the guy that I'm disappointed that we're not gonna get a chance to see this season, I like this character a lot actually. If I'm thinking about it correctly, but yeah, there's that. Again, I'm hyping up the character you're probably not gonna like that much. I'm the problem. Okay, I guess that's the end of this podcast. We are
You are the
literally
problem.
encroaching on my co-host's like ending time. Uh, not just him. I also like to end it this time too. So we'll see you guys next week as long as time pervades and we talk about the next episode, which is Yahiko's mission. That's what I'm gonna call it. I don't remember what it is. See you guys then.
Bye bye, babies.